Okay, well, let's start. First, could you please introduce yourself, such as your name, age, or your background?
My name's Alyssa. I'm 25 years old. I'm currently studying at UTS for Master of Secondary Teaching.
Okay, so why did you choose to be a Master of Secondary Teaching student, and what inspired you to become a teacher?
I choose Master of Secondary Teaching because I did my bachelor degree at UNSW for economics and commerce. And during that period, I found my interest to become a teacher. And then the main person who inspired me to become a teacher is my mom, because she was a principal in the secondary high school, and she taught me the importance of education in secondary school. Yeah.
Okay, well, so what does a typical day look like for you during your school placement?
So usually I wake up at around 6 a.m. and then I arrive at school around 8 a.m. and then I start my preparation for the whole day, including the 5 lessons. And our school starts at 9 a.m. and we have um, like I mentioned before, 5 lessons, and we have a lunch break. So we finish at 3 p.m.
Such a busy day, huh? What do you find most challenging when managing a real classroom?
I think the most challenging for I think the most challenging thing for me is um, the behavioral management in the classroom, because we have such a big classroom with more than 30 students in one class. So it's quite challenge for me to make sure like every student is participating in my activities and they are on the right track.
Okay, so could you give me maybe an example about how you manage them in the classroom?
So at the beginning of my class, I usually tell them do not talk when the teacher is talking, and they're not allowed to talk um, when I'm doing like explicit teaching, but they can absolutely talk to their peers during group discussion.
Oh, yeah. So, what has been your biggest learning or growth as a teacher so far?
I think it's the time management, because usually before my placement, I used around 5 hours to prepare a lesson, including the lesson plan and the PowerPoints and the worksheet during the lesson. But now I only use like around 2 hours to prepare for a lesson, which is like I become more efficient when planning the lessons.
Okay. So you used to maybe like 7 hours before teaching a lesson, something like that. 5 hours for the preparation, and another 2 hours for maybe um, to help yourself to improve the teaching skills.
No, I mean, before my placement, I used 5 hours, but now I only use 2 hours. So I increased my productivity.
Oh, so that's a kind of growth of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next question is about the teaching environment or the moods of you. And many schools are exploring like the blend learning, such as online teaching plus face-to-face teaching. And what are your thoughts on this approach?
I prefer face-to-face teaching myself, because in that case I can see like what are the students doing in the class, because during their ages, they don't have the ability to manage themselves properly like during a whole day. So it's quite important for the teacher to manage their students in the classroom. And then I think online maybe can use some, for example, Google Classroom to finish their homework. But I think I prefer face to face more than online teaching.
Okay, so what about adding them together? Maybe online plus face to face? Like we
Um,
said, maybe online homework and face to face teaching?
I think we might we could do that, but I think that's probably for university students, and for high school student, I think face to face is better than online, in my opinion.
So it's a good way to manage their behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question is about how does teaching in an actual classroom compare to the macro teaching at the university?
I think when I did the macro teaching in the university, because in our group we only have 5 students, and everyone was paid attention to listen to the teachers, and we don't have the behavioral management things. But now in the real classroom, because adolescents like teenagers, they have more behavioral issues, so I do need to spend more time on the behavioral management than like real teaching usually.
I totally agree with that. And next one is for the professional challenges. And the first question is about what has been the biggest challenge you have faced in your placement and how did you handle it?
I think the biggest challenge for me, like professional challenge for me, is preparation for year 11 revision class, because they will be the year 12 students in 3 weeks, which means they already like know everything about economics. And because I learned economics I think like 5 years ago, so I have to like do the revision myself before I teaching them. So it's quite challenging for me because I need to read the textbook around 200 pages within 1 week. So I think that's the most like the biggest professional challenge for me.
Okay, cool. So have you received any support from your mentor teacher or other staff at school? And how has them helped you?
I did receive some help. For example, my mentor teacher, he gave me feedback after each class, like what did I do well in the classroom and what should I improve in my next lesson. Also, he shared me some materials that could improve my teaching in the classroom.
Sounds like it helped you so much. When you don't receive maybe immediately guidance, how do you usually find the solutions?
So what does that mean?
Once that you didn't maybe receive the feedback immediately, and how do you find the solution before maybe your mentor teacher give you the feedback or helps?
So usually I will figure myself, because like during like one lesson I could find like which aspect I could improve, and I will do better in my next lesson.
Okay, so let's move on to the maybe well-being and work habits. The first question is about how do you balance the license preparation, study commitments, and personal life during placement?
So from Monday to Friday, I'm quite busy at the moment because I have lots of lessons to plan, and then during my weekends, I usually sleep for at least 10 hours on Saturday, and then maybe do another lesson plan day on Sunday. But I don't really have much personal life because this is my first placement, and I do need like more preparation time than a real teacher.
It sounds like the problem is still about the time management. Yeah. And how do you manage the stress or class difficulties to maintain a positive mindset?
Uh, so stress. All right. Um, so for me, like personally, I'm not a quite stressful person because like teaching is my biggest interest, and this is the area that I like. So I don't think it's a stressful thing for me because I really like challenging things because I can see my improvement every week, and I'm now doing my fourth week, so I can see for example, compare my first week and my third week, I can see myself quite improve in, for example, time management and behavior management in the classroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe how do you balance the work and your personal life?
Mm, just like I mentioned before, um, and also I think like after school like is quite important for me to chill out. For example, I will take my dogs for a dog walk around 30 minutes. And during that time, I feel I just release like all the stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have any personal habits or strategies that help you maintain well-being?
Um, yeah, I think like every time when I feel really stressful, I will do something else. For example, watch some TV dramas or play some games with my friends. Because I think when you really feel stressful, you cannot just focus on your work. You just focus on your personal mental health well-being. That's quite important.
Oh, it's quite helpful. And let's move on to the motivation career goals, maybe your future career for future careers. And the first thing is that what keeps you motivated to be to for your teaching career? What keeps that?
I think one is just stable income, because usually we will have the stable income starting from the first year, compared to accountant or financial advisor, because they do have those like KPI or something to improve their salary. But for teachers, I think we are quite stable. We don't need to really worry about the salary. And also, I think it's my interest in teaching. So compared to an office work, I prefer to work with children. I think that's not that stressful for me.
So you think that your work is larger than the salary you get?
What do you mean by that?
Maybe you like teaching the students, and which is larger than you get the salary.
Well, I think both things are important for me
Okay.
because the salary is the thing that I can maintain my life. But I think a stable income is the one I'm chasing for. I don't really chase for like commission, like based on maybe my KPI. But I really want a stable life. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good point. For sure, do you set long-term career goals or do you prefer to take things step by step?
Well, I have a long term goal myself, but I do have step by step as well. So my long term, maybe for the future 5 year, is be like a real teacher, a real professional teacher in the high school, and then after that, maybe I will do a higher educational things, maybe PhD or research. But I'm not too sure about that.
Okay.
Because I get like every courses about distinction in my study, so I think I have a huge interest in education, and the step by step, maybe it's like the goal for each year or each month. Like for me, this year I just want to complete my first placement in the high school, and maybe for next year I just want to like graduate from the master degree with at least a distinction average mark.
Hope you can achieve that.
Thank you.
And where do you see yourself in 5 years as a teacher?
I think in the future 5 years, maybe I am like more professional at school, and I have my own strategy to manage the behavioral behavior issues in the classroom, and maybe I have like less preparation time for each lesson, and maybe I will be more like efficiently to prepare the lesson, and then maybe I teach other courses other than commerce, for example geography or history.
Cool. Let's move on to the last question. What advice would you give to someone who is just starting their first year of teaching placement?
Well, the first placement is like very tired for each student, because like we don't have the professional teaching experience before, and I think the observation from other professional teacher is very important, because you need to observe how they teach in a real classroom, and also you need to learn from the contents in the textbook, so maybe do the time management things wisely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my interview.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for your help.